everyone, welcome back to another episode of LateNightFeels podcast. I'm here with my esteemed guest,
Marc Lafontaine.
There he is.
Hey everyone.
And today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We thought of talking about
love
in a weird way.
Yeah.
I thought of more of a like today's generation's views on relationships.
You're going to get a very depressing discussion about love today, I think.
I don't think it's
not depressing. Maybe a little pessimism with a touch of realism. Maybe.
Isn't pessimism actually realism?
No. I think it's just an end of a spectrum.
Yeah.
Optimism and pessimism are both flawed.
I mean,
realism
is
unobtainable.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just realism, but tip toward pessimism.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. We were initially talking about way back as in 3 days ago.
Yeah.
We were talking about how people's standards today have arisen to a point of catastrophe. Maybe not catastrophe, but it's very hard to choose things nowadays because of the amount of things we have access to.
Right.
So there was a TED Talk, because I'm a millennial. There's a TED Talk.
My source of info, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was a TED Talk about this guy. It was given by this guy who's this philosopher from Colombia. I don't know, but he wrote a book called The Paradox of Choice, and he said that most people would admit that or agree that the more choices you have, the better off you are, because you have a wider range of things to choose from. But in reality, what happens is that for big important choices, right? For big important decisions, if you have a huge range of stuff to choose from, it's that much harder to choose.
Right. So essentially, and I think in his mind he ties this a lot to kind of how capitalism influences this idea that more choice for the customer is better.
Right.
And that's fine for minute things.
Right.
But at a certain point, the issue is that when you get something so monumental as finding a potential partner, you're going to be incredibly critical of everything about them so that they meet your expectation. But at the same time, you're going to spend so much of your life trying to decide, is this person right, is this person wrong for me, that you end up not choosing anything at all.
There you go. Right. I think. That's kind of a pessimistic view to see in your early 20s, but you know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Experience shapes thoughts.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of relationships are very taxing.
Of course.
Right. And the goal, I guess, in the World War II era was to find, well, at least for men, it was to not die in the war first, then come back, find a lady, have a family, and buy a car, because in the 50s everyone wanted fucking fridges and cars and stuff. Yeah. So that was the American dream then. And nowadays it's like, I want to find the one.
Right.
And that's you want to find someone to.
Relationships are less functional. They seem less obligatory, but we're humans, we're animals. Relationships, we're social animals. Relationships are obligatory. Yeah, right. For good. But you want to maximize everything.
What the fuck is that? Good socialness. Sorry.
You want to maximize, the benefit in a partner. But that's where part of the issue comes back, is that you're being unreasonable to an extent. See, it's a matter of expectation. Right. So I saw the Emoji Movie last night.
Nice.
Okay, now we're in the real shit.
Oh.
Okay. I knew exactly what kind of movie it was going to be. Right. It was going to be a product placement. The jokes were going to be ham-fisted. The ideologies were going to be ham-fisted. Everything would be plainly stated. Right. I went in there with an expectation, and that was going to be exactly what it is. Right. So there was no potential for me to be disappointed, because my standards cannot be any very lower. Low, yeah. And I even had a good time because of that, because it was easy to poke fun at and just laugh at how bloody stupid it was. But we do the same thing with other people, I find. Right. And we kind of categorize them as if we typecast people. Right. But you can't have that type of expectation because you need to throw yourself kind of into the fray of being with them to actually, understand how complex another person is.
I mean, I feel that instead of, and I'm guilty of this, I think everyone's guilty of this, instead of being with the person for who they are, you kind of build this ideal in your head, and then you test everyone against this ideal, right? To say like, well, okay, let's say, I make a ranking system and, you need to score, 300 points in order for you to be my like ideal partner, right? The thing is that like your ideal partner, no one's ever going to score 300 points, right? No. So if your standard is 300 points or nothing, then you're going to be left disappointed.
See, people don't understand that in a way everybody settles. They have to.
I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean,
settle in the fact that there's not going to be somebody who's going to meet all your expectation.
Yeah.
Right? And so the only people who settle really, or who don't settle, are going to be the people who don't even end up in relationships.
Right.
Because they don't have to.
Well, I think most of all, at this age, right, early 20s to, late 20s, it's where, at least for men, because this is the only viewpoint I can speak about.
You're fucking better.
I don't know. I feel that it's still very hormonal.
It's impulsive.
It's impulsive. Yeah. It's hormonal, and you don't know what you want at all, right? And how can you expect to know what you want in a partner if you don't know what you want from life?
Or you think you know what you want.
Yeah, and then
that's completely incorrect.
Exactly. And then you try, and then you're like, oh shit, this is a mistake. That's why everyone changes majors all the time.
Right?
Yeah. Because, you think you love something, and then you do it for a year, and you're like, no.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
I want to die. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly. So, yeah. And maybe there's too much pressure put on relationships nowadays for, like, young adults.
Because we're sold, I wouldn't call them lies. We're sold,
it's a hopeful narrative.
Fancies,
Yeah.
Things that people want to be true.
Well,
it's
like
hopeful.
Every rom-com ever.
Yes, like How I Met Your Mother. It's probably one of the prime examples.
I hate that show so much.
I liked it when I was much younger. Yeah. For like some jokes, like some characters were funny.
Oh, I agree. I think that it's really funny when you're like, 14 and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you look at it. I don't know. I found it. And this is a white guy calling something sexist, but I found the jokes kind of fucked up. I don't know. It's like there's Ted, who he just goes through a bunch of manic pixie dream girls. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and he learns from every one of them. And then, you're lucky if you see them the next time in like another episode, right?
Yeah.
So and then Barney is a fucking asshole.
Right.
And Marshall and Lily have the most dysfunctional relationship in the world.
But at the same time, that like makes them somehow functional. Like they're supposed to be the model relationship.
Exactly, but they lie to each other. They
they're just kind of lucky with
exactly.
Their love.
You know what? Seinfeld got it better.
Seinfeld did get better.
They got it better than How I Met Your Mother. You know what I mean? Because when George is looking for love, like, he's fucked up, and then the person he's seeing is also fucked up, and like that's where the comedy comes from. It's not like Ted, who's a hopeless romantic and he's looking for love, but he never like.
The premise is flawed as opposed to the comedic outcome, which is the right way to do it.
Right.
Actually, no, it's actually the opposite.
It's the opposite.
The right way to do it is to notice that there's an inherent flaw.
Yeah.
Between the two people,
and
then the comedy ensues
play
naturally.
It up. Yeah.
That's why Seinfeld was such a good show.
Jerry and Elaine and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. What's not funny is, I don't know. After like the 10th, like, haha, Barney slept with another stranger. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, get out.
Because the comedy is like displaced from the concept of the show.
Right.
Because when you look, there is no concept really.
I mean, a
guy's looking for a girl. They hang out in a pub a lot.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue.
Right. And it's stupid because they tried, like, Seinfeld did the show about nothing first.
Right.
That was the first of its kind, right? It wasn't a sitcom really. It was just a show about stuff. And then everyone tried to copy it and they failed.
Right.
You know.
I think Flaubert actually wrote in a letter that he wanted to write a book about nothing. And he wrote Madame Bovary. But Madame Bovary is not about nothing. But when he says nothing, he means
he means like just the way fucking Jane Austen did.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. It's just these things happen in their locale. They don't have any greater statement. They have a statement within.
Yeah,
but
it's not
incredibly
like
extroverted.
Exactly.
Works.
Yeah. You know, I did the interview with Tom Fox.
Right.
And for those who are just tuning in,
this is live.
This is live. No, I did an interview with this math professor of mine and of a lot of people in liberal arts at Dawson, but also at McGill. Not liberal arts at McGill, just math at McGill and liberal arts at Dawson. Just want to clarify that. Anyway, and he was talking about Flaubert and stuff, and I asked him about, you know, whether math is created or not. And he's like, well, you know, you're not going to learn everything from math. Just like you won't learn everything from reading Flaubert. I found that funny. He's like, you're not going to learn anything about women from reading Flaubert. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. You know, you have to experience some stuff to actually get to know it. I don't know what my point was. I don't know
either. I enjoyed the ride though.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed the ride.
Thank you. Maybe there should be a booth of me at La Ronde. You know, just
take a ride on Venture.
No.
I'd
rather not.
Oh my. I should be the soundboard for this podcast. Get a bass line here. Okay. Anyway, the connection between Seinfeld and expectation and love. Being too picky.
Yeah, Seinfeld. I guess Seinfeld. They had a very small expectation, and then even that wasn't met, and that's what made it funny.
Yeah,
like the thing with the nose.
Right.
Like the episode where George meets a woman and she's perfect, but she has a big nose, and then he convinces her to get a nose job, and then the guy, you know. Right. Butchers it. And I love the fact that Kramer's the realist, right?
Right.
Kramer's always like, they butchered you. And everyone was like, no, it's fine. So that's what was funny, and that's what I mean, I'm not saying relationships should be comedic and like haha.
No.
But listen, I don't even know where I'm going with this point anymore.
We have a direction, we just don't have an end goal, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seinfeld just put things in some type of frame of light.
Right.
That wasn't entirely hopeful. And that plays truer to the nature of a sitcom, because in a sitcom, things aren't supposed to change.
Right.
You need that sense of security that brings people back in all the time. It's not like a movie where there has to be the character starts at one point and he ends up completely different. Yeah. That's what a good movie does.
With the arc.
A good sitcom doesn't do that. Seinfeld arranged its comedy in a way in which it didn't try to do what How I Met Your Mother did, where in which the characters all grow. Yeah. I mean, it's nice over time. Like Breaking Bad, that did it well.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, like, in terms of the overarching story, if you look at How I Met Your Mother, the way it ends, he ends up in the same damn place.
Yeah, and it doesn't even make any sense.
Like, spoilers if you're watching this, but if you're, like, 20 and still watching How I Met Your Mother, you know, there's better stuff out there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I still think the writers were more or less pretty good for just basic comedy.
I mean, see, How I Met Your Mother, the thing is that even when you turn your brain off to How I Met Your Mother, it's still, this is just my opinion, but to me it still sucks.
Right.
Like, you can turn your brain off to Seinfeld or to Friends even. Like,
right.
Those are good shows. I mean, okay, to me, nothing, no comedy, situational comedy every
Yeah.
situational comedy pales in comparison to Seinfeld.
Right.
Because to me that's just the top,
Right.
right? So
Everything was just so carefully
yeah.
constructed.
So what Larry
Just
David
worked.
and Jerry Seinfeld did is it was really well crafted, and you know the music works and everything, and it's just the right amount of production. Whereas like these new sitcoms, I don't know, they're not that good. You know what? One sitcom that I enjoy is Blackish.
Never seen that.
It's really funny. It's
is
really
it?
it's a show about this like this black family in America, but the joke is that like they're black-ish,
Okay.
and like the father wants to really like connect with the culture.
Wait
and
a
stuff.
second. Who's in it?
I don't know
Who's
their
in
names,
it? I think I've heard about this.
but it's a really good comedy because
I've read
it's
some very angry reviews.
oh really
Yeah, I think people mad about the crux of it, kind of like what the show's not what it's
It's-
trying to say, but like what it's doing.
I don't know. I mean I haven't thought about it super deeply. I think it's a funny show, and it does a good job at tackling some of the issues in like
Right.
racial issues in America. Like some of it's actually pretty smart,
Right.
and the delivery is again pretty funny. Like you know, it's I guess if you go really deep into it and you know analyze what each episode means and what each line means and like the characters, then you can kind of see that like, oh well, it's different. But at the same time, I don't know. I think that every culture has its differences.
Yeah, I think that's
You know?
that's a pretty fair statement.
No, but I don't know
Right.
why everyone expects equality. Doesn't mean that you have to like make one big culture that is everyone is the same.
Right. It's just being able to respect other people's
Yeah.
traditions and
Right.
see them and empathize
Yeah.
that they're human beings.
Like not every white dude likes to go fishing, and you know you like to go
I
fishing.
love going down to Tallahassee,
That's my
catching me
favorite thing.
some catfish in the river.
Right.
That's what I like to
Yeah.
do.
But yeah, really. Have you ever been to
Sandals and
Tallahassee?
Sandals
and khakis.
Beers, boats, buds. The
Beer.
three B's.
No, thank you. Yeah, but you understand what I mean, right?
I see what you mean.
Like it's not a. I think it's a well thought out show, and I think it has some good lines, and you know I don't know as yeah.
But what about love?
What about love?
What about it?
I don't know. we went off topic for a
It's
while.
okay. Because there is no single topic in these
Well,
podcasts
yeah.
ever. We kind of just
It's a big. I think it's a big thing to talk about, like the nature of like, is there such thing as true love? I don't fucking know. You know, I think that there are good matches and bad matches out there. You know,
I mean, we're talking about experience. So does
Yeah.
it exist? It doesn't exist in a proper form.
Right.
It exists as a type of feeling that two people might ascribe
yeah.
to it.
I mean, there's no,
And that's not up to us to say. That's only up to those people.
Yeah.
It's like people who say they have a religious experience, like a very deep personal one. It's like, I don't doubt you didn't have that
Yeah.
experience. I'm just not going to say that that particular one
speaks
like,
to you.
physically speaks to me, or is like was physically proper to any space and time,
Or was true.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Or was real.
I'm becoming Richard Dawkins.
Oh no.
quite-
Oh no.
What a magnificent piece of atheism, isn't it? That's my Richard Dawkins. Horrible. But yeah,
That's a pretty bad Richard Dawkins.
thank you for that.
Richard Dawkins.
Richard Malkins. Richard
Because
Malkins.
you're mocking him. Now that's comedy.
That's
Now that's
comedy. That's-
ABC, sign me up.
Wow.
Fox News.
I think
Don't
Fox
sign me up.
News. What?
Oh.
Let's get political. Fox News is comedy. Whoa.
Tony Lorraine.
Speaking of news, I don't like CNN.
You know what? It's really fucked up to see a news like network. Yeah, a news network.
Giant.
A news network basically just taking the piss out of Donald Trump
Right.
every day. They've been doing it. it's been Donald Trump every day for the past half a year.
Since he started running. Well, since he started
So it's
making his
for like a
inflammatory
year.
remarks
For a year or two. I don't know. It's been a while.
I mean, there are other things in the world.
Yeah, and
I
it's
think if you only keep your mind on the U.S., and this goes to Democratic and Republican viewers, or whatever a political alignment they may have, you're going to have a very narrow way of seeing the world if you're only looking inward. You always have to look outward. That's why I appreciate things like BBC News, or they have BBC World News. They have one reserved for just the country, and they have one reserved for the world. Mm-hmm. It's important to know how the outside world is influencing your policies, because then you're only understanding why other people are making decisions as opposed to why you might need to make decisions.
The shitty part is that they're also so what they're doing is they're looking at the God, what's the word? The spectacle of Donald Trump, like the shitty things he does, and like
the folly,
the crazy, the folly
of
and
the American presidency,
and the the extravagant and
the magnanimous
weird when he goes on Twitter and like shit talks someone, and then he shit talks another person, and then that's on the news,
every
which is
night
crazy.
Is fight night on CNN.
Yeah, and it's stupid because like why don't we come back to the issues?
Mm-hmm. They feel like Jeffrey Lord, who they know is going to say something that's either incorrect or just will defend Trump at any risk, regardless of what the facts are. And they know that that's going to cause the anchors to fight with them, and they know they're going to get reviews. The guy who owns CNN right now, I know two things he's worked on in the past: Fear Factor and The Apprentice.
Wow.
That's what he worked on before.
Oh, goodness. So,
right?
he
understands spectacle.
Sensationalism, that's what I wanted to say. Sensationalism, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's concentrating. And it's sad because the issues that brought everyone, I guess, together, or that that binds everyone in one group, right? Mm-hmm. So in the US it's gun control, and there's still like the big issue of abortion, right?
Right.
Women being able to get abortions, and
when Trump does something about that, then CNN will tackle it.
But it's not like the issue isn't spoken about, it's Donald Trump that's spoken about, and I think that's completely ridiculous. I don't know, it's crazy to me that one man has become the center of attention in a country which has so many issues and so many, there's so much dichotomy. And I was, this might sound stupid, but I was playing a video game.
Right.
I was playing a video game online, and there's this guy. He was a Navy reservist. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he was, I don't know. Oh, he was from Arizona. Yeah, I remember. So he was from Arizona, and we were talking about politics, and he was a Trump supporter, right? So he voted for Trump. I mean, Trump supporter is a heavy word. He voted for Trump.
Right.
And for once, I decided I'm not gonna berate Trump. I'm not gonna call him an idiot. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to see what this guy had to say, all while we were playing a stupid video game online. And the resulting discussion was quite interesting because, we both concluded that Trump supporters and Bernie supporters have a lot more in common than they'd like to think.
Right.
But both parties want to change the system that is in place now.
They both talk about like draining the swamp.
Right. Draining the swamp, exactly. They both talk about the current system isn't working. Let's put in place a new one, and they both want people to be better off. It's just deciding on how to do it is different. So that's why Hillary lost, right?
Well, she didn't represent change.
No, she represented the establishment.
All right.
And then we kept talking, and then we both agreed that the U.S. should have more important political parties, right? It shouldn't be two political parties pitting us versus them. That's
so
horrible
perfect for CNN, right?
Yeah,
it's 1v1. And that's a good American news network will have one eye on the White House and one eye on the rest of the world.
Right.
But both eyes are trained directly on the Oval Office all the time.
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying that what's coming out, like Scaramucci, like, what he's saying about previous, all that stuff, it's big stuff. Like, sure, cover that. But you don't need to cover that for 3 days straight.
I'm sorry, but that should have never happened.
It shouldn't have happened.
Either way.
It is a scandal, but he's still in.
This is, the shit talking stuff in the, you're a fucking adult. Like, get over yourself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's angering. It's confusing, too. Mm-hmm. Again, I was talking to Tom Fox, and he said something pretty interesting about the subject. He said, looking at debates in Canada, right, because he immigrated from the U.S. to Canada, looking at debates in Canada made him realize that, he looked at every one of these people from the Liberal Party, from the NDP, even from the Bloc, from, and from the Conservatives and stuff. And he saw, wow, and this is I think this is back before Harper. But, even Harper's not as bad as everyone puts him out to be. Definitely not as bad as Donald Trump.
No, he's just represented views that were unpopular with a lot of liberals.
And what his point was is that he looked at the debates and he thought, wow, any one of these people could be president. Prime minister. Mm-hmm. Any one of these people could, be put in a leadership position and the country wouldn't fall.
I mean, it's not like our parliament, not our news networks, but our parliament can't be sensationalistic. Like, remember Elbowgate?
Yep.
Trudeau accidentally kind of elbows and nudges like an MP, and he apologizes 4 times about it.
That went on for like a week.
Yeah.
And
get over it.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. I don't know. And when I went to Romania and stuff, it was that, but all the time, right?
Really?
Oh yeah. Romanian politics are just horrible, because there's so much embezzlement. There's people steal and people lie. Like the last president or prime minister, I forget, but he lied about his PhD, like he plagiarized to get it, and then he was still prime minister or president.
Joe Biden, I think it was in the 80s and 90s. He got caught for plagiarizing something.
What did he plagiarize?
It was a speech.
Oh. Wow. I mean, at least it wasn't his whole degree.
Melania plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech. It's like, wow, that's awful.
But Melania has no original thought, from what I can say.
I think over the year, first ladies have raised the bar on what's expected. Or I suppose. Okay, but hopefully in the future, first husbands will do the same.
I don't even want to compare Melania Trump with Michelle Obama.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we expect more from a first lady. Maybe it's just the office it's attached to, but
I think that the expectation though is valid,
right? Because she represents America.
She does
somehow. It's to an extent.
Well, she's part of the governing family. And
it is a governing family. All the appointees. Trump's name from his own.
Well, nowadays, yeah,
it's
ridiculous. Anyway, this is frustrating.
I'm angry. You know what else involves anger? Passion. Love. Someone say love. I don't know. I think we can connect this somehow.
You think, how would you connect this?
I don't know. I said I think. I didn't say I know how to connect it.
Sensationalism, love, sensationalist love.
There seems to be some type of, I don't know, just running tragedy between it all, of thinking you can see the fault lines and everything, but you're unable to act on things. Kind of the same thing, you have issues in relationships. Right. You can see what went wrong.
Right.
But you can't help but not fix it because your feelings are going to promote the way you act as opposed to your rationale. And that's kind of the same way I view politics.
Right.
Is that some statements, as bombastic as they may be, will resonate with you. Even if you realize, wow, that's kind of horse shit. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to go for it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to vote for you because that one thing you and I have in common in terms of ideology is very important to me.
Yeah, it's more important than anything else.
So I don't care what you have to say about anything else. I just want that. That's why people who are favored Trump's economics, maybe they should, he's the businessman, but Those aren't
I
entirely.
mean, he's a failed businessman.
Well, yeah, he's had a
declared
lot of
bankruptcy
bankruptcies.
3 times or 4 times.
Bankruptcies can be smart moves for business. They can be ways of actually getting money.
They can be, but at the same time, I don't know. To me, it's a dishonest.
I mean, Trump. Yeah, Trump Steaks wasn't. I don't know if you call
Trump
that.
Steaks, Trump
Trump
Towers,
the board game.
Trump fucking airlines. No, let's Trump's a fucking idiot. That's the reality of it.
But yeah, I guess my point is
he's an idiot.
There's conflict everywhere.
There's conflict in this and love.
Just love. Caught in a romantic war. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Quote some Hale.
Quote some Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
The love in Game of Thrones is real.
True.
The incest and rape, holy fucking shit.
See, that's. I appreciate the show.
I'm a new viewer, so
really?
To me,
yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, I'm on season 4, episode 9 now.
Right.
That's sensationalist as well. It's a good show.
Yeah,
It's a good show.
I think people love it. I think people just watch it. But I think it's a show that's important to at least realize why it's good. At least in my opinion, that it's good, because I think a lot of people would agree that's a good show.
I think it's good because of... Well, okay. I really appreciate the fact that the places are real. So the CGI is minimal.
They film locations. They go to Spain.
They film on
England,
location. You know what I mean? And
they go to Cyprus.
I appreciate that. I think that's very nice. I mean, obviously the big city, overviews and stuff. That's CGI. But the when they were walking in the desert, it was like an actual, like you saw the sand on the ground. You know what I mean?
King's Landing is filmed in Croatia.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, you know.
That I can respect, and also the storylines are good for the most part. I mean the overly violent deaths I could maybe do without. There are too many deaths in this show, man. It's sad.
Well,
all the people I like die.
The death in the show, which is weird. This is an issue I'm trying to get over with the show, because like a part of the big philosophy of what kind of like what Seinfeld does,
right,
is that it's more realistic. It's a fantasy, so a realistic fantasy entails, the good versus evil doesn't work all the time.
Right.
And Game of Thrones, the evil and the wicked tend to prosper over
the
good and valiant. Being good often gets you killed in this show, right? And like Seinfeld, it kind of tries to invert some tropes.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, the killing just becomes showy.
Yeah.
It's gimmicky. It's mindless. Point. Yeah, it's gimmicky. It's like it can be gimmicky in a kind of campy way, which is cool. Like if you watch something like Army of Darkness by Sam Raimi, like in the Evil Dead series, like that's campy as hell, and the violence is just stupid, and it's amazing.
But I don't think you'd want a campy thing in your serious medieval.
Exactly, but there's levity in the show.
Oh,
there is. There's small bits.
Yeah. I mean,
like Tyrion is supposed to be a big sense
Tyrion.
Of levity.
Yeah, my favorite thing is the Arya and the Hound.
Yeah,
like that alliance. Like that's just funny to me. Like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
We're like, I mean, spoiler alert for people who haven't watched season 4 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're walking around and he has her as his captive.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to, give her to someone as a reward, right? And so Kat Stark dies, and then Lysandra or Lisa, her aunt,
Aunt Liza,
and Liza dies, and like, she just laughs. Yeah, she's just laughing her ass off at the Bloodgate. Is that it? Yeah. So that definitely, that part of the show I love so much because it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny.
But like, kind of like the same vein as Seinfeld is that Seinfeld refuses to give in to making the audience feel good in a moral sense, not in a humor sense, but they're trying. It's kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
right?
You know that these characters can be massive scumbags sometimes.
I mean,
Good Samaritan, the finale. I know people don't like it in Seinfeld, but that's the way the show ended, where they end up in jail. They're not exactly the best people, and that's what makes them endearing.
Right.
What Game of Thrones does is it has the running theme to compete with fantasy, where you have all these characters coming back to life and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not caught up, so I won't say things and stuff like that. But the Game of Thrones issue is that it has that kind of Valar Morghulis, which is like the Valyrian, all men must die.
Yeah.
But then it violates that. It's weird. It's like the book is a lot more in terms of fantasy. It's more in line with that, but it still has its own unique elements and make it able to confront those tropes.
Mm-hmm.
But the show, I think, has a harder time juggling those things to making them work.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's harder in a context where the story needs to evolve with each episode, right? Whereas like in a sitcom, you can explore those ideas because every episode is different. Like you don't need to know what happened in Seinfeld season 1, 2, 3 to enjoy season 4 because it's just funny. Yeah. And it's this one thing I found, I don't know, not disturbing, just depressing is have you seen the show BoJack Horseman?
Like you don't even make eye contact when you like see that name out loud. No, I haven't really gone into it.
It's really depressing. Yeah? Like it's a comedy / drama, and it's a comma, and it's just each episode. So it's funny, but each episode reminds you of how shitty it is to be alive at times.
All right.
Like it's hit after hit of hopelessness and I guess in a way it's about what does a man who have everything want, because he has money and the main character is a horse, played by Will Arnett. Yeah, so the main character, he has money and women and all the superficial stuff, right? But what could he possibly want, right? And I know it's stupid to say, but he wants happiness, because isn't that what we all kind of want in the end?
Well, yeah, that's the only, I think, type of currency. I think that's the only type of consistent currency among humans.
Yeah,
is that's the only way to profit, right? As when you realize, you look at the magnanimous scope of the universe, and you realize that what you're doing is technically inconsequential,
right?
Then at that point, the only way to profit off of life is to just kind of get pleasure,
right,
from things.
But then again, hedonism doesn't always pay off.
No, it doesn't, because it fractures relationships you might have with other people too.
And also, the happiness you receive is not as great as the pain invested in something that will pay off later on.
Right.
I thought of this quite a bit in these past few weeks. Right, without school and anything to kind of keep me busy, I've just been thinking a lot. And at one point I thought that what you're trying to do is you're trying to just maximize the area under the curve of happiness. So every time and I'm going to speak in terms of math here, but your y-axis is happiness, and then your x-axis is time, right? So you want to maximize that happiness over time, right? You want to get that the biggest area under the happiness time curve that you want. Right. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, someone could be super happy for most of their lives and then have this dip, right, where they're just miserable, right? And comparatively to the happiest you've ever felt, that dip doesn't need to be as bad, as far away from the axis as right. So okay, again, math terms, let's say the most happy I've ever felt was a 150, right? That sadness doesn't need to reach negative 150 for me to want to fucking die, right?
right.
This is me as in a person,
right?
And so now I don't think it's about the area beneath the curve, right? Because you can be happy for most of your life and then have a really shitty time, right? And then people just kill themselves, right?
Right.
So that can't be it. The area under the curve thing is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So then how do you quantify it, right?
Is there a sense to quantifying it?
I think so. I don't know.
You're losing time just by thinking about it.
But that's how I like. I don't know about others, but that's how I understand the world. In certain, at certain times, I feel it's better to quantify certain things because that's how I would like to see it. Maybe you can quantify it. Maybe you can explain like what happiness is, or like what the optimal amount of happiness you should.
You can't explain it. It's like love.
It's like
You just feel it.
Unexplainable. Listen, I don't have the fucking answers.
No.
I don't know. I don't think anyone has the fucking answers. That's the issue. No one has the it's frustrating because no one has the fucking answers.
But we all want the answer.
And
we expect it from other people.
And you expect to learn them as you grow up, but it's bullshit, Right. And either you can go into a simplistic way of looking at things and, give yourself the answers that you want in a really easy way and then live your life like that, but no one wants that.
I mean, you could trick yourself into finding an answer. Though? Well, I think everybody who thinks they know something has already tricked themselves into thinking that they do.
Yeah.
The thing is, you just want that to be a positive thing, and you also want to somehow be able to be receptive to other people's ideas about it. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
No one has the fucking answers.
Life is horse shit.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's horseshit, but it's frustrating because you expect to learn these things with time, and then you don't, and then you look at these creations by, again, I'm gonna mention BoJack Horseman because it's so depressing, but like by people like Will Arnett and stuff, and people, when they're in their 40s and 50s, and you expect. These people are successful. They have their shows and stuff. And obviously, it's not an autobiographical show.
No.
But there must be some elements to it, right?
No, all writing obviously does have, even if it's very bad writing.
Yeah.
It's informed.
Right.
By some experience. The issue is how well you're able to express that.
Right.
And make it understandable to somebody who might not know what you're talking about or who can have some type of empathy for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happiness is a wonderful thing, but the issue is that you're told that you're showed and you're told by your parents, this is expected of you at this age, this is something you'll have at this age, you'll have a wife and kids by this point,
right?
You'll be retiring by this point. We have a concept of time that has a beginning and an end,
right?
Because that's our lives. Right? So we plot these important life moments and we expect them to change us.
Right.
And when something we don't expect changes us, and when something that's supposed to change us, but we don't expect it, when all that happens, we go a little crazy.
Yeah.
We don't know what to make of these things. It's expected that everybody's so lost, kind of. Because they think things are expected of them, but they're never actually what they themselves expect. I don't know what I'm saying. I have no idea what I'm saying.
So people have things expected of them, but it's not the things that they themselves expect?
Yes.
What do you mean?
They set, and other people inform this in them. They kind of imprint this idea in their mind that, they're going to have this experience and it's going to change them. And then when they have that experience, it's not what they were told to expect.
Right.
It's something different.
Right.
And they were not prepared. And they're not prepared. Nobody's prepared to really process that.
Right.
So you don't live your life trying to kind of, I don't know, have this type of foreknowledge of things that are going to happen. You're not trying to be a clairvoyant with how you're going to deal with something. You just live it.
It's hard to just live it.
Oh, it is, because we have to think.
You have to think forward. You can't.
You have to.
See, this is the big, the crux of the biscuit is that, I guess, to be happy, you have to live in the moment, right?
Right.
But then how do you plan shit? You know,
You do, but
how do you plan shit in the long term, right?
I think you plan life with a sense of complacency.
Right.
You just mentally accept that things might go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people have this. It's a superpower to me, honestly. How people can just go through their lives being complacent, not trying to question things all the time, just living their life. That to me seems like happiness. Is it a kind of blissful ignorance? Maybe.
Maybe.
Are
I
they
don't
maybe
know.
just,
But
they're not occupying their mind because their ideas of what's important are different and they're more real and not so kind of esoteric as ours?
I mean, I think that the problem with questioning things all the time is the fact that you lose a lot of time questioning things.
Yeah.
I had I was bored one night and I didn't want to work on anything, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write some metaphysics,
Right.
because whatever, I'm bored, and it might not be good, but I don't care. And so I started writing these like theories on metaphysics that I had, that I was thinking about, and it brings you to a place where I don't want to go there soon, ever. Right now, because it's too much. I don't know how Descartes did it. I got to a point where, and my thought process wasn't novel. It wasn't anything crazy. You don't, so you don't know if there's a beginning or an end, right? You just know that you're experiencing something, right? So that's basically cogito ergo sum, right? Which is, I think, therefore I am. So
Right.
that's, where your starting point is. And then you can be like Descartes and be like, there's a demon trying to trick me and everything, right? But, you think about it another way. And can you generalize this feeling you have by interacting with other people? Not really. So, like, let's take it as an axiom, right? Assume that people around you are experiencing the same thing you are. Then you can infer, beginning, so birth, and then death.
Right.
Because if someone dies and, what you're experiencing is you're in control of this body of yours that you don't know if it's real or not, but, you have thoughts, and then at one point someone around you dies and then they don't seem to have thoughts anymore in the same way, then you can kind of conclude that, okay, this specific experience ends, right? And so I was there, and I'd written that up, and I looked at it, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Right.
My head was spinning, right? Because then that's how you create, history and stuff. But, you can't really comment on materialism, materiality.
No.
You can't really comment on
Because you're a part of that.
yeah, and you don't know if and how do you can you conclude biology and mathematics and stuff? I don't know. My head hurt too much to go there and
Right.
to try to go there, right? So anyway, I think there's a certain amount of hubris if you write your own metaphysics and you expect it to be good.
Or right.
Or right, because there's no way to do it. So
That's philosophy.
I don't think there's any hubris in attempting to,
No.
but
You're exercising
I mean, you're trying to do something,
the
right?
greatest gift God gave you. Your mind.
Your love.
Love.
But and this is heady stuff, and I thought, shit, Descartes was insane, because he had the mind power to do all that stuff. I mean, he didn't do it when he was 20, granted,
Right.
but it's weird, thought is weird, and life is weird because this is all you have. Like,
Consciousness.
it's all you have,
Right.
right? So from the beginning to the end. And when do you begin to live as like a human person?
We're talking about abortion.
No. I'm talking about like
politics. No, when do you consider yourself a human being? Because
when do you begin to live, right? When do you begin to feel this pain?
I think consciousness is when I think you begin to live. I think you're not a human being until you're conscious. Because at that point,
So,
everything's
so
just a cell or an atom.
So 2-year-olds are.
No. Well, no, they can experience. Well, here's the thing. I mean, dogs are dogs, right?
Right.
There's a quality to them because they are expected to just experience things and to act as per their habit and also have some of their character.
Right.
It's a different rule set, I think. I'm not trying to give a rule for life, but I think I'm saying what defines human, maybe not what makes a human.
Right.
Because I think you at that point, the severely disabled aren't human, and I don't know if I entirely
Yeah, no,
think
you
that.
don't
I don't want to get that controversial right now.
No.
You know, but I think you're at the apex of existence, at least on this world, when you are conscious.
You know,
You're in a class of your own.
okay, but how do you define consciousness?
Fuck, I don't have the answer. Nobody has the answer for that. We've been working on that for millennia.
That's interesting. I tend to agree if you were to define consciousness as kind of self, like you're aware of yourself.
But just being introspective, being able to look within and without, but also knowing that you are. I don't know, actually. Is there what's better to experience yourself as part of a larger construct of a planet with other people that are like-minded or different, or to see yourself as your own kind of divine being who is able to create their own ideas?
See, that's an interesting thing because if you go up on if you take some axioms,
right?
Like my axiom is everyone experiences stuff similarly, and then the second axiom is that stuff exists outside of me, and you can conclude that from the first axiom. So basically, no. So the second axiom is false. We're building this as we go, boys and girls. Okay.
Shout out to Cecilia.
Boys and girl.
Yeah.
Or one listener. But so your first axiom is that people around you are feeling the same thing, right? And from that you conclude beginning end. So you can conclude birth and death, and you can also conclude the existence of what we call material things. So like my laptop will live on even if you die right now.
Right.
It'll still be there.
It will still exist materially.
Like you have experienced it, I've experienced it,
But your particular version of experience will die with you.
Yeah.
Every death is the death of an entire world. Really? Every human death. Everybody's perception.
Well, maybe every death in general. I don't know.
Saw a woodlouse die the other day. Cried.
What?
I'm kidding. Death of a billion stars.
Oh God, no.
I don't know.
Yeah. So then you conclude this kind of materiality, or rather, see, I don't know. You can't conclude material stuff from that. Anyway, I don't even know where the fuck we were.
I don't even know where I am now.
Oh yeah. So yeah. If you take that axiom, and then only if you take that axiom, then you can conclude the existence of other experiences and stuff, and then you can get to other people in this world, right? But you have to take that axiom,
right,
of like this stuff being experienced by others around you.
So is that what love is? That bridge?
Maybe
experience?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe love is finding someone with a similar enough experience to yours that you can adequately share new experiences with.
To take the individual and stretch it into another. Yeah. And that forms one coherent being.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, because that doesn't technically make sense at all, because I think there is no such thing as complete, I don't know, let's the Greek glupikron, right?
Glupikron.
But like the two halves, man and woman, are two halves. Everybody's looking for their other half.
Second half, yeah.
That's where we get our Western idea of that. It comes from ancient Greece.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't exist because I see it. Individuals have worlds, and there is no ultimate realization of that type of conjoining. I think you can get very close if you have the right person, but that's maybe true love doesn't exist. The thing is, we're playing with semantics and the way in which
how you define love, how you define true love,
and how these ideas happen over time. If we look at like the lexicography of
is that a word?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think it's aligned with the what the hell's a word? The study of meaning of words. It's akin to it. It's like the way words change over time. Etymology. It's like etymology.
I was gonna say epistemology.
Epistemology.
The study of knowledge.
I almost said entomology.
Isn't that with
insects?
Insects, yeah.
Study of insects. Yeah. I told you I cried when the woodlouse died.
Entomology.
Good one.
Yeah, I don't know if I think similarity has to do with a lot of that. I think that if you don't experience things the same way, it's hard to be in a couple,
right,
with someone.
Because if the crux of being a couple is sharing a moment.
Right.
You can share a moment, but you'll share it very differently. You'll share it physically in that you're both there. Mm-hmm. But the way you interpret that and see it and how that impacts or informs your own ideologies might be vastly different.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't understand pickup artists.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like that.
You got a problem with prank invasion?
Prank invasion.
Gold digger prank gone wrong.
Stupid
20?
Video.
Yeah,
mommy beach day prank.
Oh, mommy beach day or
idiots.
Bring your daughter to beach day prank.
Fucking
yeah,
idiots.
Obviously they're all staged.
I mean, that's without question. The fact that 12-year-olds look at this and they're like, "Oh my god,"
because I think they haven't realized how to find porn yet at that age.
Yeah,
and so they're just like, "Well, we got Chris from Prank Invasion here." Groping people and making out with them. I guess that's the closest I can get. Or maybe they're just not able to actually. They're just looking for something to like mentally entertain them.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't even know what I was.
I don't know where you go with this, but yeah.
I was probably watching some stupid shit when I was 12. I mean, everyone was.
Well, I mean, that's the rule with YouTube. If you see some type of trend, or these types of videos are coming out that all share a very stupid, similar premise. The answer to why that's popular and why it's thriving, it's kids.
Right.
It's always kids because it's irrational to you. It's not like this is a
them,
niche for some adults. Yeah. And they're probably
because they don't analyze shit yet.
No, it's just they receive and kind of export their emotion.
And maybe I think that's a nice way to live in a weird way.
Well, yeah, that's happiness.
Maybe.
Kids are typically more happy.
Or I mean, wasn't Jumbo South very happy?
Right, and he was
he wasn't even a hedonist.
He even said that that's what existentialism is pretty.
Yeah,
optimistic.
But see, it's easy to be like that, and then like also I'm part of the bourgeoisie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Life's good for me. Like I have a good mind.
Right,
and I have money.
Because if I had $10 million in the bank right now,
life be grand. Because you're able to live in the moment.
Because
you can do anything.
Because then again, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't know what to do with $10 million.
Maybe you'll be BoJack Horseman.
Oh, Horseman. Maybe.
Horseman.
Maybe I'll be Will Arnett in the past life.
That'd be a pretty good life.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, but he had like 2 divorces, didn't he? Well, his
Love's
first.
difficult if we haven't learned anything from this podcast, Petru.
I had a podcast. I listened to a podcast with Will Arnett, and it was the WTF podcast with Marc and I, and they touch on pretty interesting things. I'd suggest looking for that episode. I think it's really nice. But he was talking about the first time he got married. He was 24, and he'd known the girl for a month.
Oh.
And then they were married for a month, and then they're like, oh, fuck.
Balance the scales.
Yeah.
Give a month, take a month.
Give a month, take a month. But yeah, they got a divorce. It's ridiculous how, he was referring to his 24-year-old self as a kid still.
Well, yeah, I guess. People develop at different stages. I think there is such thing as lifespan development, and there are ideas that come along at certain stages. But then again, some people just don't grow up, and you feel inadequate when you realize you don't have those expectations, or you don't fulfill those roles yet.
Yeah,
you're not where you wanted to be.
Isn't the I don't know. I feel that Maslow's pyramid.
No, wait, maybe.
The pyramid of like happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. So like the base thing is like shelter, and the second thing is food.
Like top is like
water,
self-actualization.
Yeah.
Or something.
The top is. I think that the top of the pyramid is reached too fast.
It's lean.
What?
I hate myself.
What?
I said it's lean.
What do you mean it's lean?
Drink with codeine and
yeah. What did you say? It's lean.
Fucking no, that's what happiness is.
Yeah, codeine, Jolly Ranchers, Sprite,
and skank cabbage.
What is that?
It's weed. It's making things up now. We're talking about love.
Moving on. I think that step in the pyramid happens too fast.
Right.
Or no, not that it happens, it's reached too fast. Mm-hmm. Because we're in the first world. We're white men. We have a certain amount of privilege.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, but.
And so the food done, shelter done,
those aren't the only two types of privilege, though.
No, I know.
I know they're base things, but there are other base things that are incredibly important too.
This is what I know because this is what I am. Mm-hmm. So like I'm not gonna speak of other people's privileges. Mm-hmm. But like from what I know, you have easier social acceptance, like it or not. Mm-hmm. And then you accept who you are, someone, then other people around you accept you, and then now you just there's self-actualization, and you reach that at a young age where you're stupid and you don't know what you want. That's crazy,
right?
Because now the whole thing is like I was speaking to my dad about jobs and stuff. Right. And so my dad's an immigrant. So we're all immigrants, but like my dad came here when he was 32.
Wait, you're an immigrant?
Yeah.
Just gonna leave the room.
Oh. Okay. You knew that though.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So I came here when I was 3. It wasn't a big difference. But for my dad, he came here when he was 32, and my mom was 31, and they both worked really, really hard and stuff. And so now I talk about jobs, and he's like, listen, I didn't bring you to Canada just so you could work like the night shift at McDonald's or something. Mm-hmm. And not that there's anything wrong with working the night shift at McDonald's, but the pressure is high. Like the expectation is a lot higher.
Because your dad worked all these years so that you could succeed and maybe even surpass.
Right. And I think a lot of people are in that situation now. Mm. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure to put on young people, I think. Because I see that a lot with a lot of people at university and stuff.
Yeah, here right now at McGill. You can see it in their face.
Yeah, no, people are outside of this cubicle studying. Mm-hmm. They're just there and they're working. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of pressure, and I don't know if it's good or bad, if it makes us smarter or dumber. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Anyway, love.
Is it real? Is it not? But love also plays into that expectation of where you want to be in your life.
Yeah.
Love has its own pyramid.
Right.
Right? And people just so often just think that if they just find the one, they'll get to the top. I don't think the one indicates the top.
Will allow you to self-actualize.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want the perfect boy who will allow me to self-actualize.
Manic pixie dream boy.
Oh my god. No, you can find the one, but it might not be the right time in their life or your life, or you might not have learned something yet that doesn't allow you. So that's part of the tragedy of love. Is just sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Even if there's that potential. You see, that's the thing with humans. Same thing for any technology or mechanical device. The more working bits there are to it, the higher chance it is it's going to break.
Yeah.
Or just
because
going to
every
malfunction.
bit has a probability of failure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just expounding it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, well, on that very light note.
Told you we end up on a sour note.
On that very happy note, we'll leave you with some of these questions.
Yeah.
You know.
Answer us on the blogosphere.
On the blogosphere. On the SoundCloud. SoundCloud's going down now. I don't know where I'm going to host these.
Why is it going down?
I don't know. They lack money, but they still take the $16 a month out of my payment. No, that's fine. Find us wherever you'll find us. Wherever I'll post this.
Discord.
Find us on Discord. Actually, it'd be pretty fun if we had a live session.
That'd be good.
Where we'd the
potential for
callers.
things going wrong. That actually, I would do that. We should take callers.
We should take callers. I agree with this. Anyway, so thank you guys for listening, and I'm Petr Dragnev,
and I'm Mark,
and good night.
Good night, good evening, and goodbye.